What can you do if you have trouble sleeping, a lot of stress due to your business, a lack of physical activity and training, and an irregular work schedule? My name is Jonas and I help entrepreneurs optimize their health and performance. And in today's video, I want to present you a case study of a client with which I am working right now and how we resolve those problems. First, I will introduce you to my client. Then I will talk about what I have observed concerning his sleep and his physical activity and training regimen. I will then talk about the goals we set out whilst working with each other. And to finish it off, I will talk about concrete action items and steps we will implement to make sure we achieve those goals systematically. Let's dive into it. All right, so first of all, just for the information, I changed the name for security reasons and data protection. But Ralph, he is 50 years old, he's an entrepreneur and also professor here in Switzerland at university, and he has trouble sleeping. He has a lot of stress due to his job and his business. He lacks physical activity at the moment, and he has an irregular work schedule. What I then have observed with my questionnaire I invited him to fill out was that he only sleeps roughly around 6 hours per night. His cycle or sleep cycle is irregular because he goes to sleep at around 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. in the morning, which is not that optimal if we have a range of 2 hours, which varies, thus leading obviously to a bad sleep quality. And also one reason being is the stress he is experiencing and also the long days he has due to work. Concerning his physical activity and his training, he does 7.5k steps per day, which is actually quite okay. But what he lacks is he doesn't train at all at the moment. So he doesn't have any strength training, he doesn't have any endurance training planned into his weekly schedule, which is going to be a problem in the long term. And what he does on a regular basis is of course sit due to work, and he also stands, which is a positive point during the lectures he gives, which isn't that bad, but also not that good, obviously. And then the goals we set out for each other or for him are concerning sleep, that he gets 7 to 9 hours per night of sleep on a regular basis. If you are younger, then you might want to increase that range. If you are older, let's say about like 60, 70 years old, you might not need as much sleep because your body's older, the metabolism isn't as fast anymore, and thus you might not need as much sleep. And then what we also want to focus on is the rhythm and the regularity, because if we dial that in, we will be making sure or make it easier to accomplish those 7 to 9 hours of sleep, but also increase the sleep quality. Why? If we give our body a rhythm and a regularity, our inner clock or our circadian rhythm, so called, is more in a rhythm, and our body gets used to when he wakes up, when he goes to bed, when he performs at his peak. And therefore, we can increase the quality and regularity of the sleep and also our performance. Then concerning physical activity and training routine, what we want to focus on in the first step is 2 times strength training per week and 1 times endurance training per week as well. Of course, this, if it was really optimized, I'd like him to train 3 to 4 times per week strength and 2 times per week endurance training, which is, depending on your schedule, quite a lot. but we want to focus in the beginning on just getting into the routine itself, just getting used to strength training, getting used to endurance training, because this is going to be the key in the long term. Consistency. Because if the thing is, and what most people fail to do is you can't win at health. And by that I mean, as long as you are on this planet, on planet Earth, you can't win at health. You have to practice keeping up and improving your health daily, weekly, yearly, like all the time. And if you stop doing so, guess what? Your health will decline. And if you don't have any routines in place, I can guarantee you, or pretty much guarantee you, that in the future there are, or you will be more likely to experience a lot of pain. And that can be through like osteoporosis, where your bones get weak, or you have like you don't have enough muscle mass, your metabolism slows down, you are at a high risk of cardiovascular diseases such as heart attack, and so on and so forth. So you can't win at health. So what you want to make sure, or what I make sure with my clients, is that they have a routine which they can follow. It doesn't have to be perfect. We strive for perfection, of course, but we want to focus on consistency. Very important point. Okay, so now that we have talked about the goals, what are then the concrete action items? That's what we are going to discuss right now, and we will focus on sleep and also on physical activity and training. So sleep, first and foremost, we want to start with prioritization. And by that I mean, you know it for yourself. Like when you have a meeting, you want to make sure that you show up for that meeting on time and that you are prepared for that meeting to optimally perform, give value, and make sure that just work proceeds as planned. And the same goes for our sleep. We want to prioritize our sleep so that we make sure that we make or hit those 7 to 9 hours. And how can we do this? Well, one point is by so-called shaping knowledge. This is a BCT, a so-called behavior change technique, which increases the likelihood to improve your or to keep up with your routines and to change your behaviors. And for example, like one point for shaping knowledge could be that I might tell my client that if you only sleep 4 to 5 hours for 3 to 5 days in a row, you have testosterone levels of a person which is 10 years older. Or another one could be, that your passive tissue in your spine fills itself up with water during sleep. And there are so many things, like also your brain gets cleansed of metabolites during your sleep, which like improves then your cognitive performance on the other day again by a lot. And just those facts make you aware of how important sleep is in the short and long term, thus making it easier to follow along this set behavior. Then we have also a wind down routine, and by that, the thing is, with wind down routines, you can make it really complicated or really easy. The goal is just, as the name says, to wind down. You can do this by playing video games if you like to, which is not optimal, but if it relaxes you, it fulfills the purpose, and that's all a wind down routine has to do. Other ones or other people might read. You might like enjoy a casual conversation with your partner. Just make sure that you find one with yourself or which suits yourself. And then also for the wind down routine, you want to make sure that you cut off work 2 hours before going to bed, so that your mind has time to calm down. Because otherwise, you will carry thoughts, problems, stresses from work into your sleep, which is not optimal, of course. Then we have sunlight in the morning and physical activity or training. Why sunlight in the morning? When you see sunlight in the morning, in the first 60 minutes after waking up, you will naturally accelerate the waking up process of your body, and thus increasing alertness in the morning, increasing performance, energy levels, and also you set an internal clock which increases your melatonin release in the evening and making it easier for you to fall asleep in the evening. So you see, there are a lot of things connected with seeing sunlight in the morning. And you've probably heard this before, that you should do morning walks and this and that. Yeah, they are optimal, but let's say you don't have any time for morning walks. One thing you can do is when you brush your teeth, you can just open up the window and yeah, look at the sun, look at the sky, which is like a little hack where you don't lose time but increase sunlight exposure in the morning. Then what you also want to limit is caffeine. When I invite my clients to stop drinking caffeine at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, because caffeine has takes a long time to be, how do you say it, to be broken down in the body, and yeah, it stays a long time in the body, and when you drink caffeine too late in the evening, it affects your sleep quality in a negative way. Then 2 to 3 hours before sleep, I advise my clients to not see any blue light, no phone, no food. Those are like the three no's. Blue light affects the melatonin release in the evening. So when you see blue light in the evening, you will have your melatonin release will be less, which also impacts your sleep quality in a negative way. Then no phone is also for to not have any stimulation, or to not have any stimulation which is too high. Maybe you receive messages from work, emails from work, and so on and so forth. And then food also, 2 to 3 hours before bed is recommended to be limited. Why? Because then your body has time to digest the food, and when you fall asleep, your body can focus optimally on recovering and not digestion. Because when you digest your food, your heart rate will be elevated, and during sleep we want to have a heart rate which is as low as possible to have recovery as high as possible. If you have trouble falling asleep, one thing you can do is take a sauna or hot bath. Why? When you take a sauna or hot bath, your body temperature increases, but your body doesn't want that. So after the sauna, he will make sure or put processes into place to decrease the core body temperature, and this drop of core body temperature leads to a feeling of feeling tired, or a feeling of tiredness, thus helping you fall asleep faster. Then also one thing one can do is listen to headspace meditation just to calm down, and also put self-monitoring of behavior in place. And what I mean by that is just having a journal or habit tracker where you track when you hit your sleep schedule, just to see your progress and make adherence a little bit easier and improve that factor. Then when we look at training, one of the most important things when you establish a habit is regularity and consistency. Well, the problem here is with his work schedule is that his work schedule is irregular, which makes it, yeah, hard to find regularity, right? So I then ask myself, okay, how can we integrate routine and regularity in an irregular work schedule, right? So what I then asked him is how he plans his week, if he has a ritual or a certain point in time where he plans out his week. And we want to integrate a so-called planning ritual, and this can be Friday in the evening, Monday morning, whatever fits Ralph best. And by that, or during this planning ritual, I invite him to plan in those 2 times strength training and one time endurance training. And I want to, it is really important to be concrete there. So when are you going to work out and where are you going to work out? And also planning that you have everything you need the day already the day before. So this is how we create routine in a week or schedule of irregularity. Very important. And the training is going to be a whole body workout for strength training. And endurance training, there you are actually pretty free. You can go play tennis, paddle, do a high intensity workout, or just a long run. The most important thing at the beginning is that you get into it, that you have fun, maybe you have some social integration, which also increases the likelihood that you will stick to a certain behavior over a long time, making it easier to establish habits and routines. And you see, there are a lot of action items you can do, you can implement. The most important thing is, and what I also take great care of, is that I don't try to implement everything at once with my clients, but I have a clear plan of prioritization, when I do what and with what I start with, and so that we then can step by step implement all of those action items in a sustainable way. Because if you try to implement everything at once, I can pretty much guarantee you that it will first of all feel very hard, a little bit overwhelming, and you won't be as likely to stick to it over the long term. So this is also a very important point to consider. Yes, and that's it. To conclude, focus on routine, prioritization, and also elimination to improve your sleep and your physical activity and training, and thus overall health in a world of irregularity and a lot of stress. That was it for today's video. If you want to see more of those videos and improve your health as well, you can subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in the next video. With that being said, take care and see you next time.